Well, folks, the Bucs are limping their way into the game before the bye week versus the New Orleans Saints as multiple starters have officially been ruled out by head coach Todd Bowles. Let's talk about it. Shout out to Sleeper, by the way. More on them a little bit later on in this video. So, there was a few updates from today regarding the injury stuff. Mike Evans is having surgery on his collarbone. He broke it in that Monday night game versus the Detroit Lions. He's going to be out for a good while, okay? But we all knew that. But going forward into this New Orleans Saints game, Bowles told the media today that Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving, and Hassan Reddick are all expected to be out in Sunday's game against New Orleans, and then the Bucs have a bye week. So, Todd Bowles, I think he said to the media today, like, we're just trying to get to the bye week, and it does very well seem like they are limping into that bye week, just trying to have as many healthy bodies as possible on this roster. Now, in the case of Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving, I will say, from my opinion, it is been a pretty frustrating thing with the lack of information we've been seeing regarding their recoveries. I mean, Godwin has been said to be week to week, and then he's just missed multiple games. Bucky Irving, we have even less information on that. We know that he has a shoulder injury. That's kind of the big thing right now with Bucky, is that shoulder injury, and that's kept him out multiple weeks now. And then with Hassan Reddick, he just got an MRI yesterday on knee and ankle injuries, I believe, and we don't know the results of that MRI. All we know is that he's going to be missing this upcoming game versus the New Orleans Saints. So there is certainly a lot of lack of information on these three in terms of their recovery right now. And I don't know if that's just because Todd Bowles doesn't know. I don't know if that's just because they don't want to talk about it. Maybe it's a combination of both things, but there really is a lot of lack of info right now, okay, from reporters, from the team, and it is getting slightly frustrating in my opinion. Now, in the case of Chris Godwin, okay, he is going to be out this upcoming week. What does that mean, right? Let's just talk about it in the short term. So Godwin and Evans are going to be out. Okay, Jalen McMillan is still on the IR. So the Bucs have a lot of injuries in that wide receiver room still. It's been like that all season. Okay, well, Emeka Egbuka is going to be your wide receiver one, as he basically has been throughout most of this season so far because of all the different injuries this team has seen so far this year. In the case of number two, there is going to be a little bit of debate there. Some people will maybe say it's Tez Johnson. Some people will maybe say it is Sterling Shepard. One of those guys is going to be that number two. After that, one of those two will be the number three. At number four, I'm probably going to have Cam Johnson or Ryan Miller. Both those guys also play a ton of special teams in there as well. So I'm very curious to see what is going to happen in that scenario. Also, real quick, guys, I do want to say shout out to the sponsor of this channel, though. It is Sleeper. If you guys do use the code MrBucs, you will get a 100% match up to $100. Again, that is whenever you use the code MrBucs. Also, whenever you guys sign up, you get 20 bucks for free. It is simple as that, everybody. It is a fantastic deal. So make sure you go download the Sleeper app today and enjoy football the way it was meant to be. That is together. Huge shout out to Sleeper for being the proud sponsor of this channel. Now, back to what I was talking about regarding the depth chart. Okay, so Egbuka is your number one. Assumedly, Sterling Shepard or Tez is going to be your number two, number three. Ryan Miller, Cameron Johnson are going to be your four and your five. And right now, that's all the Bucs have on their roster. I assume Mike Evans is going to be put on the IR. That is probably going to be something that is happening. Godwin hasn't been put on the IR, which is a positive sign. But with Evans being put on the IR, you can very likely add another wide receiver to this mix. And who would the Bucs add? Well, I don't 100% believe they're going to add somebody from the outside. I have one guy that, is a possibility. We'll talk about that in a separate video. But it seems like the most likely option is going to be either promoting Garrett Green from the practice squad. You guys remember Garrett Green, former WVU quarterback, converted to wide receiver. They could very well look to promote Garrett Green, use him more as a kick returner, and then use Cameron Johnson more as a pure wide receiver. That could be a possibility. You've also got a wide receiver in Dennis Houston, who has been with the Buccaneers for a little bit now. He is 6'1", 190 pounds, Green 5'11", 201. So I imagine one of those guys is going to get either elevated or promoted on game day. And folks, that's probably going to be what the Buccaneers do, because the vibe that we're getting here with that is like, yeah, they're just trying to limp into the bye week and get by with warm bodies. And it's probably going to be Dennis Houston or Garrett Green getting the elevation or the promotion to the active roster for this upcoming game versus the Saints. In the running back room, look, it's still going to be Rachaad White, Sean Tucker. Josh Williams, I don't believe, has been practicing. So you're going to be seeing probably Owen Wright out there at running back is going to be that third running back. So it's going to be Owen Wright as your third back. It's going to be Rachaad White as your starter, and it's going to be Sean Tucker as your backup, and that's just the way it's been so far. So shout out Owen Wright. Finally, in the case of Haason Reddick, now I'm going to be making a separate video about what the Buccaneers should do throughout the remainder of this season, depending on what that MRI comes up with for Haason Reddick. But Yaya Diaby's still going to be your starter. Anthony Nelson jumped in as the starter after Haason Reddick went down, and then Chris Braswell is going to be there also. Marquise Watts is pretty much only been a special teamer this year. In fact, I think he's only been a special teamer so far this year. So I think you're going to be seeing a whole heck of a lot more of Anthony Nelson. I think you're going to see sprinklings of Chris Braswell. If the Bucs do anything this week, it's going to be an elevation or a promotion of Mo Camara, which I made a video talking about this guy, and I like Mo Camara coming out of Colorado State. He did some interesting stuff in Miami. I would be curious to see what he could do with the Bucs. He's been on the practice squad for a while now, so I am going to be very curious to see if he gets an opportunity here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this upcoming game versus the Saints. We're going to have to wait and see. But that's pretty much your updates right now regarding those three. We will see what the Buccaneers do later this week, but let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about it. I'd love to hear it. As always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.